Hello and welcome to our tutorial where in the last tutorial we worked on the register.java where we're getting the inputs from the user and then sending it to the database. Now we were meant to test our application. When I clicked on play, because in our main activity, we don't have anything there, we can't actually get to the registration activity. So all I'm going to do in the main activity now is I am going to create a button for now. I'm not going to worry too much about anything else. Just going to create a button there that when we click on that button will take us to our register activity. So let us do that now. So let's go to our activity main, and inside our activity main, I am going to use a linear layout as I've been using. I'm going to change the orientation to a vertical. And then I am going to go to my design section. And then I'm going to just drag it. Like I said, I'll create using code and also using the design so that you will be able to learn how to use the design and the code at the same time. So I'm just going to drag, we don't need a plain text, is a button. So what we need here is a button. So if we click on button, if I click on button, I think I put it in the wrong place. I click on button. So I've added a button and I'm going to call my button go to, or button register go. I'm calling the button register go because I already have a button called register already. And I don't want to confuse myself. Or I can call it button navigate to register. Button navigate to register. Now this button to navigate register. Now, if you're just joining us, we've created, this was a build up an application that we were building. So we've created an application where we have an event where user can log in and add the events, be able to delete and add events to it. But in this tutorial, what we're doing is I am adding a button. When I click on that button, I want to be able to navigate to another activity. So this button, I'm calling it button navigate to register. So button navigate to register. Don't worry about the files here. The only file you need to worry about in this case is the main activity and the activity main. So button navigate to register, and I'm going to go in my code just to check to make sure. I'm going to refactor it, and it's going to change the ID of the button to button navigate to register. And then the text, I'm going to say register. So in my main activity now, I'm going to import a button class to be able to attach my layout button to backend code. So button, and because when I enter button, Android Studio automatically imported a button class for me. So button btn navigate, that's what I'm calling my object variable that I'm creating right now, navigate to register. And then when I come inside my onCreate, I'm going to btn navigate to register. And then I'm going to find my button in my layout. So find view by ID, R, which points to resources, ID, that's what we're looking for, and then the ID that I want. So button navigate to register pops up. So what I need to do is I need to attach a handler to my button navigate to register so that when I click on that button, something would happen. So to do that, all I need to do is btn navigate to register dot set on click listener. The minute you start to type it, Android Studio would help you. And then new view dot on click listener. And then this is where we are at the moment. Now, to navigate to another activity, what we need is intents. Now, intents are like small messages that it goes to Android and then tells Android that this is what I would like to do. So intents are usually used to go from one application to the other. They are used to send information. You can add messages from one activity and take it to the next activity. There are two different types of intents. We have implicit intent and then we also have explicit intent. Now, explicit intents are normally used to navigate from one activity to another in the same application. So in this scenario, where we are trying to go from one activity to the other, we're going to use an explicit intent. Now, if I was to use an implicit intent, and an implicit intent means that, let's say, for example, I want to use, my application doesn't have an email server inside where I can send an email, but I would like to get access to any email application on my Android phone. I can use an implicit to call any application, any email application, and then I will be able to use that application to do whatever I wanted to do. So explicit, remember, explicit is used for when you know your end, where you're going to go, which activity you're going to go to, which application you're going to go to. But for implicit, it's usually used for one application to the other, or when you're not sure which application you're going to use or is available to be used. For this tutorial, I'm just going to be working on explicit intent. So to create an explicit intent, all we need to do is intent, and then I equals new intent. And then we need to specify our current context, or which context are we working from, which is the main activity dot this. And then the second argument is where we're trying to go to. So in our application, we're trying to go to our register class or register activity. So we'll do register dot class. And this is how you create an intent, an explicit intent. And then what I need to do, the last bit I need to do is start activity and then pass in an I. So this here is how I'm going to navigate from one activity to the other. This is how you create an explicit intent. Now we can add messages to it, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we are not going to add any message to it. So this tutorial is just to show you how you can go from one page, one activity to the other using intent. So I hope to see you in the next video.